Okay, so let's go ahead and give my review of this game within the credits, and then this will eventually pop up on Catholic Game Reviews here in a couple weeks, months, weeks. Let's see. I guess to start with, what's my overall thoughts? Man, I'm glad to finally have beaten this game. I've been working on this game on and off since it came out in 2011. I picked it up for my PC. I think if I had a laptop at the time, maybe this was after I got my desktop. My desktop could barely run it. I think it was desktop at that point. Let's see, I've been together with my wife for 12 years. So, yeah, okay. Desktop could barely run it, so I didn't. Came out on the Wii U, got through most of it, got to Deus Ex The Fall. My save file got corrupted. I guess more so I lost my for this save file, not it getting corrupted. So I'm glad to finally get it done. I'd gotten up to Deus Ex The Fall. I don't know if I'd mentioned that yet. But overall, I really do like the Deus Ex series. They don't quite go far enough in their thinking. They're a little too narrow viewed, I would say, and don't think about the whole picture. As we just saw there, it's like, I don't think humans would abandon technology or science, because both of those are good. It's just, when misused, they can be misused very poorly, like we're seeing as of the moment, honestly. We've seen examples of how people get similar eyes. So you get like robotic eyes, like kind of in Deus Ex, and if the company shuts down, they can't get firmware updates, so they're SOL. Not to mention the whole people being lied to about trans stuff. We're seeing the repercussions of that, how the suicide rate for that used to be 20%, and as far as I was reading, it's gone up to 50%. How most regret doing it and wish they hadn't. There's a bunch of other things too about how they die earlier because their bodies are rejecting it. Not to just mention the whole thing that it's just not good. But this is really, well, this is a Catholic channel. I'm focusing on the review here, not that aspect of it at the moment. So yeah, honestly, I enjoyed it. The gameplay I do happen to quite enjoy for Deus Ex Human Revolution. For most part, I think it's pretty well balanced, pretty well done. I don't like it quite as much as I would say the original Deus Ex. Deus Ex made it so that when you upgraded, you had to make choices of, okay, you can take this or this, but you can't take both. So it's like, okay, I guess I will take this and continue on from there. Because it's like, with this one, you can basically upgrade everything as long as you can get enough upgrade points. The only other thing, as I've mentioned before, I don't like the fact that your energy cells don't recharge at least to the third bar. It's not a big complaint, but it's still a thing that's here, honestly. I mean, you're right, it has been, Tom, but it's still like, people have to think about it more than what we do, and people don't. I honestly think that the stealth is pretty good for this. The gameplay is overall, the gunplay as much as I did it, considering that I really only did at the end there, and that was really with a heavy rifle. But you know, that's not exactly the most accurate weapon. Was pretty good. Honestly, everything feels good about it. The exploration feels... I guess I should talk about that too. The exploration feels good. Just the overall world feels fun. It makes you want to play more. Just everything about Deus Ex. Even all of them, even Deus Ex The Fall up to a certain point makes you want to experience more of the world, and that's good gameplay. It's also good story. It's a mix of both, mind you. Yeah, they do. I would agree, Tom. It's like they don't think about these issues enough, and that's why I really do like the Deus Ex games. They at least get you thinking about them somewhat. Production babies. I love seeing production babies. But they don't think about the everything to it, and that's kind of why you need theology. Like, especially Catholic theology. Without theology, you can't take the thought to its logical conclusion. You kind of come halfway, and you kind of kick the can trying to come up with ideas, but you can't get the entire way there. But yeah. Yeah, gameplay-wise, honestly, as I said, everything just feels good. Makes you want to play more. The enemies are fun. I guess the only thing that I might say is... Okay, maybe not the only thing, but one of the things I would say is a complaint is that the bosses you actually can't not kill. Like, even if you take them out with the stun gun like I did, they still end up dead in the cutscene afterwards. So, the game does mostly give you choice on whether you let somebody live or die, but not entirely, as I said we saw with the bosses. The other thing... What was the other thing? There was something else with the gameplay. I guess how glitchy it can be sometimes. So sometimes when you take somebody out with the tranquilizer rifle, that will end up killing them later. And it's like, sometimes the game does kill people for basically no reason, even if you knock them out and they're not in any area that they should die. So, you know, a couple bugs here and there make it not quite as smooth of an experience as it could be, but it's still a really good game, and I highly recommend this series, honestly. I would probably say Human Revolution at the moment is my second favorite, and I haven't beat the original Deus Ex, but the original Deus Ex, there's just something about it that I love to it, and I'm really looking forward to being able to get to that this year, because we should be able to beat Mankind Divided by June, I think. And then we can do the original and then Invisible War. But, yeah, I guess I don't really have anything else for the gameplay. Actually, I did. The upgrades do feel really good. This was my first time taking the double knockout upgrade, and that was an amazing thing. It's like, as long as two people are right next to one another, I can knock both out at the same time with one energy bar. Yes, please. And going back to it a little bit, if you didn't have, if you were able to recharge up to 3 bars for your energy bar, that would make it so that the healing items didn't have as much use. So I do get that as well. So, well, it is a minor complaint. It is still something I want to bring up, but it's like, I get the reasoning behind it. So it's like, plus that probably would make it a little too powerful, because it's like, on hard mode for this, you only get 1 energy bar recharge, so I'd be curious about doing that, and maybe I'd be willing to revisit this here in 2 years for Year Square 2024. But we'll go ahead and see. The cutscenes are pretty good. I guess the other thing I'd want to talk about, before we get to the story / game length, the knockout cutscenes, as we saw here, are a little not accurate sometimes. You can have somebody floating in the air, you knock them down, and then they just drop like a pile of bricks, and it's like, oh, okay. I mean, they did the best with what they could. It's hard to do that, so I get it, but it's still a little jarring sometimes, I guess. Story / game length. I would say that the story is... We talked about this a little bit previously, but the fact that they do at least get you to think about light theology light, I'd say. So, you know, what is good about science, what is bad about science, and not just making science out to be yay good. That's something that's important. I like the fact that they have the conspiracy theories, because conspiracy theories don't have to be a bad thing. It's just sometimes people go a little too far, make it out to be a little crazy, even though a lot of conspiracy theories do have a nibble of truth to them, it seems, but I don't know. Oh, that last comment really hurts, game. Ugh. We hope you'll stick around because we're just getting started. Well, you would be.
You worry too much, Morgan. There's nothing we can't manage given time. She's here. I have to cut this short. Keep going through the wreckage. Maybe we'll find something we can use for the Morpheus initiative. Come in. Dr. Reed. We're so pleased you decided to join us.
Where else could I go?
No regrets, my dear. As Ariadne told Theseus before he entered the Minotaur's labyrinth, always
John Delancey?
forward, never left or right. You'll be very interested in our current project. We're breaking new ground.
Yes, the nanite virus chimera is quite intriguing. I'm looking forward to seeing the hybrid project up close, Mr. Page.
And so you shall. But please, call me Bob.
Megan, why? Maul, why? Don't make them develop the Great Plague. What are you doing? Anyways, what I was gonna say, that hurts. That really hurts that we have plenty more coming. It's like, you would if you hadn't been killed by EA, or not EA, but Square Enix too soon, as we'll see with Mankind Divided. Oh, is it playing the original Deus Ex theme? I gotta be quiet for this, then we'll continue the review. I love this theme. It's so good. I will say so I was wrong. It wasn't John Delancey. They got the original Bob Page voice actor from from the original Deus Ex. That's amazing. I didn't realize they'd done that. That is so cool. Not 20 years ago. I think it was like 10 years ago. Either way, it's really cool. All right, we'll get back to the review in a second. I just love this theme so much. This might be one of my favorite video game themes. I don't know. I don't listen to it that much, but it's a really good bop when you listen to it. Anyways, story / game length, as I was saying. I like I like the overall story. It's pretty well thought out. It has lots of twists and turns to it, and it just happens to be an overall good time. I don't know if good time is because a lot of bad happens in the game, and it's like, to be fair, if I'd played some more on the evil side instead of trying to make good choices and not bad choices, then maybe my opinion would change. Maybe not. I don't know. But as is, I do like the story. I do like that you can make your own choices, and they don't have much impact, which is my one downside, I'd say. That's like the one thing with all of Deus Ex. They don't have much impact, but it's still appreciated at the end of the day. Because at least they give you the choice. And to be fair, most games don't really give you an option for that, so can't really blame them for that. Overall, it's like I like all the characters. I like Adam as much as Seraph is kind of a sleazeball. I like him. I like Pritchard. Pritchard grows as a character. Like, all the characters in this, even the bad guys, they're at least interesting, and the fact that they've released books about the bad guys, developing them more as characters, I really want to go ahead and get those books, honestly, because I haven't done that yet. They're a little expensive, not too terribly expensive, but this is what I appreciate, where it expands a world as opposed to its required reading, such as we saw with Balan Wonderworld. So, there's that. Game length, I would also say that it's just the right amount of length. I think that this took, what, 40 hours? Let me check if I can real quickly. Let's see. Deus Ex, probably closer to 45 out. 45 hours we'll go with. And that's basically doing everything. And that's on a normal run through. And that was with stealth as opposed to run and gun, which I think run and gun would have made it take less time, but I do like trying not to kill people if possible, so I'd say the game length is just the right amount, and it's really sad that I didn't get to it sooner. Honestly, I'll probably have more to say about the story as I actually write the review, but this is a nice little precursor, I guess, would be a good way to put it. The music, soundtrack happens to be a little hard to hear sometimes, but when you do hear it, I do really like it. From what I understand, Mankind Divided got a different director, or composer. So that will be interesting to hear how much that changes. I do like the music for Deus Ex Human Revolution, though. It just happens to be a fun, very, I don't know if fun time is the word I'm looking for, very fitting. Like, all the music makes you really feel like you're in Deus Ex Human Revolution. So I better start hearing all this music here in the next 5 years on the radio, considering this takes place in 2027. I'm just saying, it's the rules. Graphics-wise, even for a 2011 game, this happens to look really good. I've heard rumors that the Wii U version specifically was based off a beta design, and that all of the director's cut was, so it probably doesn't look quite as good as the original, but I'd have to confirm that. And they also got rid of, I'm really hoping we get 3 at some point, honestly, Dark. It's as I hate to say it, but it's possible we'll get 3 still. Only due to the fact that, you think, I don't know. See, Dark, I would say it was doomed, but here's the reason why I'm going to say it's not doomed. The Avengers blew, and while Guardians of the Galaxy was a good game from what I've heard, it didn't sell well. I think at this point, both Deus Ex games have sold better than Guardians of the Galaxy, and since that's made by the same developers, maybe they'll go ahead and Square will just be like, fine, whatever, go for it. I'm gonna go see if I can find sales for any of these. That's the only reason why we have hope, and I hate to say that, because it's like, it seems like Guardians of the Galaxy was a fun game, and I'm probably need to pick it up at some point, but it's still like, you know. Yeah. Let's see, Guardians of the Galaxy. But yeah, graphics I do really happen to enjoy. The only thing that is a little hit or miss, honestly, for some people is the original orange graphics that happened to be there for the original release. Human Revolution got rid of it. I don't mind the orange graphics. Some people do, some people don't. It's been affectionately called the piss filter. I don't really mind the piss filter, honestly. So that's really up to person by person. After that, we have conclusion. Okay, and we'll have score too. Let's see. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. They don't even have sales. That doesn't help at all, which probably means that it hasn't sold much. Let's see if I can find Guardians of the... See, it's really hard to find sales on video games because companies really don't list them. Okay, so... Human Revolution did at least sell 2 million copies, which that's not too bad. Oh, I should probably... Guardians of the Galaxy video game sales. That probably will, yeah. Yeah, we know that it was a bestseller for October 30th, but that's about it. Let's see. But we don't have much else aside from that, honestly. So, the other most thing we have is Guardians of the Galaxy peaked at nearly 10,000 concurrent players on Steam, and that's about it. That was in October 27, 2021. As I said, I'll pick that game up at some point. Actually, how much is it at the moment? Yeah, as I said, I don't mind the piss filter, honestly, Dark. That's, to me, it's just like, it makes sense. You're kind of viewing the world through Adam's eyes, and most of the time he has those glasses over his eyes anyways, so it's like... Plus he's a computer. I'm a computer. So it really doesn't I really don't mind it. Guardians of the Galaxy for PS4 is 30 bucks. Tell me when it drops to 20. I hate to say that, but tell me when it drops to 20. Ugh. It's like, guys... Most people don't buy video games these days day one unless they know they're gonna love it. Or it's like some kind of series they absolutely want. Like if it was a new Deus Ex, I probably would. But I was gonna say if it's a new Golden Sun or re-release of Skies Arcadia, I'd go for that. Anyways, let's go ahead and wrap up this review, then we'll move on to Mankind Divided. Overall, I would say that, man, I really like Deus Ex Human Revolution. I don't like it as much as the original. I still need to beat the original, but from what I've played of the original, I do love it. I've most of the way gone through the original, just like I've most of the way gone through Human Revolution, but corrupted save files make it so when you get through a game about 80% of the way, you really don't want to touch it again, because it's a little bit of a bad feeling. Not because of the game itself, but just because it's like, oh boy, I was really liking this game, and this came along and kicked me in the balls. My favorite. Anyways, yeah, so overall, man, good game, highly recommend. Square, if you want to go ahead and just re-release this on modern consoles, I don't think anybody would be upset. I'd buy it again. Give it a little bit of a touch-up. Make it a combo pack with Mankind Divided. Just saying, if you really did want to test the waters at the... Square, if you really want to test the waters at the moment, just re-release Human Revolution and Mankind Divided in a combo pack. See how that sells. If it sells decent enough, then please just give us the conclusion, because yeah, as Dark was saying... from what I've heard, Mankind Divided ends Had a very big plot hanger. Plot hanger, yes. That message still hurts. We hope you stick around because we're just getting started. Oh, if only that were true. Anyways, gameplay, I would probably have to give it a 4 out of 5. It's pretty good. It's like everything works. There's just some small things here and there where it's like not quite perfect, but it's good. Graphics, probably a 4 out of 5. Everything works pretty well. Everything is visually fine. I can't really think of any negatives, but it's like, I wouldn't say it's 5 out of 5. Replayability, I might have to give that a 5 out of 5. No, if this was the original Deus Ex, I'd have to give that a 5 out of 5. For this one, I'll have to give it a 4. For the most part, you kind of are pigeonholed, not pigeonholed, but you can basically choose most upgrades throughout the game. So if you wanted to do a challenge run and do less upgrades, wanted to go ahead and not do non-lethal and do lethal, that would be fine. But overall, I'd have to say it's probably about a 3 out of 5. It's definitely worth replaying, but if you like the game, but the replay value behind it, I would say, is a little bit lower for different run-throughs. But to just experience the game again, it's good. Maybe I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think 3 is a little too low. Any morality / parental warnings? You can kill people. There's literal there's little humans that get abducted against their will. I mean, it's easy to forget them, honestly. Especially considering that, I don't know for Mankind Divided, but for Human Revolution, since you have 4 different endings that you can choose from, it does make it a little harder to remember specific endings. But yeah, you have literal humans that are abducted and turned into computers, and no. Like, basically, there's a lot of morality / parental warnings. I'll probably go ahead, and once I type out my review for this, I'll go ahead and get more into that, because there's a lot to talk about from that angle. No naked ladies. You go to bars. That's about it. So, nothing too bad. But yeah, overall, I would definitely say highly recommended. But let me go ahead, turn the Wii U off, turn the PS4 on, and I will get started with